Hello, this is Joe Sonona with Sonona Speaks Seminars, and this is Coffee Talk with the listing pros in real estate. And my guest this week is Jennifer Vucetic from Capital Region, Exit Empire Associates. How are you, Jennifer?
Wonderful. Thank you for having me.
I'm so glad that you are here finally on Coffee Talk. It was a little glitch, but we got you here. But I'm so happy to have with us, folks, the president-elect of the New York State Association of Realtors, and soon to be the president when, Jen?
2022.
Nice. So tell us a little bit about yourself so we can get started.
I'm Jenn Vucetic, and I live in upstate New York. I met Joe through Women's Council, and I had a fabulous experience with Women's Council. I was the local president here in the Capital Region. I moved on up to the state level, and I proudly finished off as RVP for Region 6. At that time, it was New York, New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, and what am I forgetting? Pennsylvania.
We always forget Pennsylvania, but it's good. It's all good.
Yeah.
You did a fantastic job with that. I'm going to acknowledge you over and over again. When I met you, I was the president, the only male president for Long Island, of Women's Council of Long Island. And what a great experience where Women's Council helps you find your voice. And I think not only did we find our voice again, because we already found our voice, but we strengthened it to be where we are today.
I think a lot of people were hoping that we'd get laryngitis and lose our voice.
We had fun. Come on, we had a lot of fun, and we laughed a lot, and I think that we got our points across to a lot of people and helped a lot of members and non-members at that as well. So kudos to you, Jen, and thank you for always serving as an inspiration to me. You came down to Long Island and you installed our president, Christine Napa, didn't you? Were you the installing officer? No, you were in.
Donna.
You did come to that, right?
Yes, I was there for that. But
I remember
Donna.
that. And didn't you come to my installation?
I did.
I knew you guys.
I came to quite a few.
Yes, you did. You were an excellent RVP for Women's Council, but now you're on to bigger and better and bigger things beyond. And I wish you good luck with that. So now you have your own company, your own exit office. And how's it going in the Capital Region?
It's going wonderfully. It'll be 3 years in August that I opened my own company. Yeah, time flies.
I remember when you opened.
One of the biggest questions I get is, why are you networking with a bunch of other realtors, and especially in your market? And I don't care if you do it through your local association, CRS, RPAC, whatever group you're volunteering your time with, community service. There's so much to be said about networking with your fellow realtor, even if it's in your own market. So I think people overlook that a lot, and that's such a valuable source and will serve you so well in your business, especially if you're a listing agent. One thing is you get a lot of referrals from across the state, across the nation, really, because people will look to see what you're involved in. And when they see you're involved in, let's say, the Realtor Party, they're going to want to give you a referral because that's what they're passionate about. So don't underestimate being involved in realtor activities. Another thing is in your own market, you really want to know other agents, especially now with multiple offers. If you have a good relationship with someone and they see your name come across the desk, they're either going to be really excited to work with you or say, oh no, not this one. But when you are working side by side with someone on a habitat build, swinging a hammer and 110-degree weather, not that we have that too much in upstate New York, but
I did that in New Orleans.
Yeah.
I did that with Jackie and her husband from Otsego, New York, and that's how I met most of the upstate people. Believe it or not, was through Habitat.
And once again, so no, you may know them from that region, and you may have someone ask you, who do I give a referral to? You're going to call the people you know, and they're going to put you
Absolutely.
in touch with the best agent in that area.
Yeah.
And let's face it, when you're with a company and you call an office and you say, hey, I have a referral coming to this office, you may just get the next person on the roster and it might not be a good fit. However, when you have relationships with other agents and they know other agents that may be in the next market over where you need a referral placed, they're going to say, okay, it's commercial, you need this agent, or it's new construction, you definitely need this agent because that's what they specialize in.
And I have to
So,
tell you, when I met Jackie Rose in Habitat, and then we went through Hurricane Irene the year before Sandy. When I went through Hurricane Sandy downstate, and you guys went through Hurricane Irene upstate,
yes,
that was like a learning curve for me because Jackie Rose had schooled me on the things that were happening in New York State with how to get FEMA money and building and just repurposing things back to normal, because I'm from Long Beach, New York, where we were ravaged with
yeah,
hurricane, and there was Jackie, someone who I had met a couple of years prior, helping me out, and what a great connection it was. So I'm with you 100% on that one as well. So let's get into the questions.
okay.
Tell me your secret sauce for listing property.
So I
You have a
really,
secret sauce? You have a
what was
secret
that?
sauce. What's your secret sauce?
What's
I
my
know
secret sauce?
you have a secret sauce.
So I would say I've been doing this for a while and I really enjoy what I do. And I have so much fun with my clients that my business is primarily all uh, referral from past client and family and friends and realtor to realtor. So my niche, I don't do internet leads. I tried that one company there for a while early in my career, and I realized it was zapping my energy. And then when I go to work with someone who I really, cared about, I didn't have as much energy. And I realized it was because I was working with people who weren't vested in me and I wasn't vested in them. So I cut that out and I went 100% only past client, family, friend referrals. And my business tripled. And then it even grew from there over the years. And it's when you're vested in someone, they feel it, you feel good about it, and it just brings you more business. That may not be for everyone, but that was what worked for me.
But when you were a new agent starting out in the business and you used that lead generation, what made you, or what made you decide that this was your niche and follow that pursuit?
So when I first started, I was on a team, and there's several different personalities on a team. And I said, there was like the yeller, and I said, I do not want to be that one. There's some others that were, doing internet leads, and prospecting. And I just said, I want longevity in this business, but I don't want to burn out. And I wanted to figure out what the pathway for me was going to be. I didn't want to be doing this for 30 years and having to spend 5 hours cold calling. So I really made it my goal to make lasting relationships with the people that I was working with. And when you start out that way, you're not going to have a lot of volume, but you just take your time and do a really good, thorough job and listen to people, listen to what they want, and have fun with it. And that's what worked for me.
So that's the advice you would give to a new person starting out in the business?
I would tell them to be patient because, it doesn't happen overnight, but just really be very thorough in the job that you're doing. Make sure, your contracts are, correct, and you're following up and you're not missing contingencies, and you're just really keeping on top of the transactions that you have and not chasing other transactions. Do a good, thorough job the first time through, and it'll come back to you.
Good advice. Good advice. And what advice would you give to somebody, if you could, to somebody who's already in the business?
I would tell them, make sure you follow up with your clients. And we know the stats on this. You know, people will say, oh my God, we had the best realtor. We had the best transaction. Well, what's their name? I can't remember. And it's kind of like you have a closing and then they never hear from you again. Make sure you send those cards, happy anniversary on your house, you know, just make sure you reach out to them and, you know, let them know that you care after the transaction's done.
That's awesome. Um, I don't even know what else to say after that. I'm only kidding. I'm only
I
kidding.
left you speechless?
You left me speechless. You left me speechless. What do you think, now that we're out of this, from under this state of emergency? By the time this episode airs, agents will probably be about, I would say, 4 weeks into cold calling again,
Yeah.
into telemarketing again. Are there any tech tips that you would offer to an agent other than cold calling, like that you used during the pandemic, quarantine era? Did you use anything that was different that we can continue to use? Because now everybody's going to get on the phones, and this is going to be a one major hot wire on the phone for the next couple of weeks, probably. But is there something alternative to getting listings other than cold calling?
I think you're going to be surprised to my answer. I think we are pretty burned out. I think a lot of agents are working with clients a lot longer. Some people have written 10 offers for someone. I think my biggest tip going forward, make sure you schedule yourself downtime. Make sure you take time for yourself. Put that stupid app on your phone to remind you to drink water. Take that 15 minutes at some point in the day and just
Yeah,
recenter yourself, because we are moving at the speed of light. We're getting burned out. I don't see it slowing down. I think, adding the cold calling is just going to amp it up, and we're already busy, and you're going to be piling more appointments on a already crammed calendar. Color code your calendar. Make sure you put family time in there. Make sure you put personal time in there. Schedule yourself for some sort of spiritual time over the weekend, whether it's church, meditating, reading a book, whatever it is. You don't have to tell people what you're doing. Just tell them, I'm booked at this time, but here's an alternate time. Don't skimp on that time for yourself, because you can't get it back.
true.
And you don't want your family getting the rest of you. You want them getting the best of you. So really, it's just going to be taking that time for yourself.
That's awesome advice. But what advice would not advice? That's advice for us to calm down, to take a chill pill, right? But what tech tip could you offer in listings? Like what do you do in your listings that is so different from everyone else?
What do I do? I've been using the 3D tours a lot, the
The
Matterport.
Matterport? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and people really love that.
Talk
And
about that, because you're my 102nd guest, by the way, on Coffee Talk. I want you to know you're my 102nd guest. And out of 101 people that I've interviewed, maybe one or two have mentioned Matterport, but I want to get into greater detail with Matterport. We all know what it is. And why is it so important for a homeowner to really listen to an agent who has Matterport?
I think several things. Number one being that house better be clean as a whistle from top to bottom, because that thing scans up and down. So it's a really good opportunity to get them to clean the house prior to putting it on the market. So that's first and foremost. Number two, during COVID, you really wanted to limit the amount of people that were going through a house. And I think people could really walk through the house with Matterport and decide whether it was the right floor plan or flow for them, or if it was something was funky, or then they decided not to see it. It cuts down on the amount of traffic that goes through the house. And you know how many times people pull up and they see something like, oh, this isn't for me. And I think it really cuts down on the unnecessary traffic through a house. Also for you, if you're listing these houses, people, if you're the buyer's agent and the Matterport tool is there and your person has already seen it, it's like doing, you tell them to do the drive-through of the neighborhood. They see the walkthrough and they can eliminate some houses, or they can add some houses because they may have thought this wasn't the house for them. And then once they do the walkthrough, they're like, oh, this is different than what I thought it was. This does work for us.
It's not that expensive for an agent. It really isn't.
No.
My photographer does a package deal.
Yeah. There's cheaper options too. I know Box Brownie has one, and you can get the app right on your phone.
Really?
And agents can do, yeah.
Oh, wow.
I know past president Jennifer Stevenson does her own, and she does it through Box Brownie, and she does it with the app on her phone, and it's almost the same product. So there are other alternatives. I just think it's a really great listing tool. Sellers love it. Buyers love it. So what's not to love about it?
That's great. And I also love it because I always ask my photographer or videographer to please use it and give me the dimensions of the rooms, and it saves a lot of time on the customer coming back and saying, "Can I measure the rooms?" Yeah. So that's how accurate it does with room sizes, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I love Matterport. I use it all the time.
It also has the option for the walkthrough tour. So it's not only, so you don't have the slide tour, and instead of, having to do a separate video tour, you can use the Matterport as the virtual tour.
Yeah, it's great. It's absolutely great. And we used it a lot when we were in quarantine. And a lot of my colleagues here downstate sold houses virtually that way. Yeah, it was awesome. Let me ask you, with all of this technology and all of this listing, we still hold our principles of the fiduciary duties near and dear to us when we list. And I know they're all important: obedience, loyalty, disclosure, confidentiality, accountability, reasonable care. But if you had to pick one, and one of your favorites, Jennifer Vucetic, which one would you pick?
I would say confidentiality.
Why?
Definitely. We're in everywhere's a small area, and someone could be out having dinner at a restaurant, telling their dinner guest, whether it's a husband, wife, friend, whoever, something that had happened at a listing or something they had seen, and you don't know who's at the table next to you. It's very easy for them to know who you are, look up what your listings are, or figure it out. And you don't ever want someone hearing you disparaging real estate out in the community, because it doesn't look good for you professionally, and it could be detrimental to a client or a sale. And it's just very important to keep what you know to yourself, and not be that person out in the community, disparaging other people. And it's just very important to, even just keep conversations with other realtors confidential. Make sure you're not talking negatively about another realtor. Everyone has things going on in their life, and it's just we got to give them grace for whatever they're going through, and give ourselves grace because it's important.
Now, I can't let this interview go by, and I know we had a rule going into this interview, but I know that you and I are big proponents of RPAC, the Realtor Political Action Committee, and I want you to serve as an inspiration to what RPAC does really for us realtors, and why should the everyday realtor contribute anything to RPAC, as low as $10, as high as whatever they want to go? Why should they do that? Because I wanted you to plug on it, because you're the RPAC lady in my book.
I can't speak enough about RPAC, and the number one thing I'm going to tell fellow realtors is we got to stop saying RPAC and start saying Realtor Party. When we say PAC, people just think open the wallet. When we say Realtor Party, that's answering calls to action. That is being informed of what legislation's coming out. It's knowing about eviction moratoriums. It's so much more than opening up your wallet or giving money, investing money. It's more. It's so much
What's
more.
the hottest ticket on the agenda right now for the Realtor Party?
I would say we have a lot of things going on. A lot with good cause eviction. That's a big one. I would say SALT is another big one. You know, we are the second highest state in taxes, and we're going to lose a lot of people, to go to a lower tax state. And we really need to know what's going on. We have to be prepared. There is now 1031 exchange is in danger, and there is a link
What's happening with the 1031?
They want it to go away or to lessen it.
What?
And, currently, we need to be able to, if you cash out a property, be able to roll it into a next property, or be able to do something. If you're going to do something with it, you don't want to be taxed on it and then have even less. It's
Right.
it's just, there's a lot going on. The one thing I will say about the Realtor Party, we support Realtor Party candidates. We are not red. We're not blue. We are purple. If you support our initiative for real estate, we will support you. And we have some great candidates who are working bipartisanly. There's a new caucus. It's there's 29 members of the House called the Problem Solvers Caucus, and they're working bipartisanly to help get things done. And I know that they're working on the 1031 exchange. They're working on SALT tax deductions, and we really need to pay attention and watch what's going on.
Isn't that wonderful that people can work together? You and I worked in the Realtor Party, and we went. Where did we go? Minnesota. Was it Minnesota when we went to Minnesota? And I remember John, the president. Smavey, that was it. What a great NAR president he was. And I remember Moses Saram, our past president of NYSAR, appointing me to that Realtor Party, and as the appointee there. And I did it for 2 years. And I learned so much on the political circuit and how things are done, and worked with, I know I'm going to get this one wrong, Zachary
McCary Rubin.
That's it, Zachary Rubin. What a great representation for our state, as well as our, across the aisle for federal. And I just had, in my 25 years of experience as a volunteer for 3 associations, sort of LIBOR, Long Island Board, and NYSAR, New York State, and NAR, meeting you. And seriously, I mean this from the bottom of my heart, having that experience and that mentoring from you and a handful of people, that knowing how things are done, that inside, right, is not what a lot of agents see. And having you here to talk about it was also important to me, because it's not just a listing show, it's a learning show, right? And if new agents coming into our business, as well as experienced agents coming into our business, staying in our business and surviving the ups and downs, it's not just selling real estate, it's understanding how we advocate for people, right?
I still don't know how it's done. I ask everyone else. I'm just so lucky
You know
that
how it's done.
and I was so blessed to have past presidents and, women and men that I admired in the business, share what they knew. So if anyone watching this has a question about anything on the state level, on the local level, just
Let's see if
anything.
test me. Let's see. We have Roseanne Pangiata, the president of Women's Council. We have David Lagaz, our current New York State president for NYSAR. We have one of our dearest friends, John Vernaza, who's Secretary Treasurer, coming up after you when your term expires there. You're coming up. I mean, we have such a. Do we know who's coming up after John?
Joe Rivellino.
Joe, oh my goodness, Joe Rivellino. So we got dynamite. And we have, but most importantly, we have great representation of membership there. But I don't want to just now as a member, just, Jen, it's in your hands now. I don't want to be that guy, that member. I don't want to sit passively. What can I do as a member today, supporting our Realtor Party, supporting your efforts on advocacy for us members?
The biggest thing and the easiest thing is to answer the calls to action.
Tell me about them.
A couple clicks. So we all know realtors don't read. We skim. But when a call to action comes out, it's honestly, it's so easy. You can get the alerts on your phone. It'll say, let your congressman know that we oppose this or we support this. And you just type in your name. It auto-populates. It knows who your representative is. And it sends them an email on your behalf with it all spelled out with what we're for or against. And that's all it is. That's all it takes.
That's it.
Doesn't get any easier.
And we just had a call to action, trying to appeal to our governor, right, to lift the ban. And how many people called? How many people actually answered that call to action? Do you know?
On the average, it's only like a 6% rate.
Did we go over that amount out of 56,000 agents in the state of New York?
It's so embarrassingly low. And I just think a lot of it is people don't know.
Right.
They don't know.
The flood insurance, I remember when our great government affairs of NYSAR, Mike Kelly, Derek King, when they put out the flood insurance, I remember the call to action for flood, and it was 14%. And we were pushing hard for people for the flood insurance reform, and it was 14%. And Mike said to me, "I never seen it that high."
Yeah.
And I was like, "What are you talking about? We have almost 50,000 at the time."
Yeah.
50,000 agents in the state of New York, and you're telling me only 14%? And I said, 14% is bad?
Yeah.
He said, well, that was good.
That was good.
It's the 6% that is bad. And I'm like, oh my God. And it's true. It's true. People should answer the calls to action. And you know that as a member, I may have been a pain in the ass as a director, but I'm going to be even more of a pain in the ass on my fellow members now to get them involved and get them to do what exactly we need to do to advocate for our business, our industry. So I went from a teaching listing show to an advocacy ending. And I just want to thank you for being here. Any last minute words?
It was my pleasure. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for being a positive voice in real estate, and just keep smiling and keep encouraging people, because I know a lot of people are just beat up and they need that smiling face and that encouragement to say, keep going.
I think we're all missing our hugs and warm greetings. So yeah. I just want to spread that love and joy back to you, because you're just excellent and you have an infectious laugh that I haven't heard in months. And I always say that about you. And I just want to wish you the very best. And, if I get an invitation to come to the installation, I just might come to the Desmond. I don't know yet. I don't know. I ran out of that place before COVID began. But if you invite me, I'll definitely come for you.
I would be honored. Thank you.
All right. This is Joe Sonona. Sonona Speaks Seminars. We're signing off with Coffee Talk with the Listing Pros in Real Estate. And my guest this week has been my friend, my confidant, my mentor, my Realtor Party inspiration, Jennifer Vucetic. And I thank you, Jen, and my Women's Council mentor. Well, how can I even forget that? Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.